Welcome to Faith in Vegas, presented by KEEN TV 17, a program to inspire and inform our viewers about the unique community in which we live.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Faith in Vegas. I'm your host, David Lee. I hope you're having an amazing day and a great one the way that God intended. Today's guest, we have someone that's not a stranger to our network. In fact, she's been on our show several times. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Michelle Davis.
Thank you, David.
Michelle, I mentioned some of the shows. I mentioned that you've been on other shows, and I know you host your own show.
Yep.
Tell me exactly why what got you started and why you did it.
What got me started in broadcasting? Freedom of speech, right? Being able to say what you want, when you want, at any time. It's the best thing ever, and to get paid for it, too.
Oh, that's awesome.
I know. So voiceover acting is definitely a passion of mine as well. Mm-hmm. And so radio and voiceover acting, and now television has now, I have an online live streaming television show called Geeks Are Sexy every week.
Yes, I've actually been on that show. And so I got to ask you, Geeks Are Sexy, that's an interesting title.
Geeks Are Sexy.
Why?
Well, I'll tell you what, when nerds came out back in the 90s, it was like everybody loved them, everybody wanted to be them, but I think some people kept it hidden inside them. And I think some people, like many of us, have confidence issues or get bullied in life. And so one thing that I see is when someone is super passionate about something and they're really, really into it, whether it's their job or a hobby or something that gets them going. Yeah. I think that is so inspiring. In a sense, it's kind of sexy. It's confidence. It's really showing their superpower. And so I think everyone has a superpower, especially geeks, which are sexy to me. They have many superpowers.
Yeah, and that's crazy. I noticed that your guests they're entrepreneurs.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That shows to me that there's some kind of underlying message within your show. What is the message that you're hoping to get to your audience?
The message that I'm hoping to get to my audience is to tell the message and the story that someone is trying to portray. Whether it's they overcame some kind of obstacle in their life and they triumphed through it and they created something out of that. I always like to talk about new mediums and platforms for business that a lot of people aren't afraid to talk about, and they're geared on that. And a lot of the millennials are geared on that. Yeah. And so a lot of people find social media or entrepreneurship kind of scary or leery, like, I don't want that. But on the other end of the spectrum, a lot of people are intrigued about that. They want to know, how did someone like that get started? What motivated them? What inspired them? What triumphs did they go through? What obstacles did they overcome? And what lessons do they have to teach people about that in the end?
So speaking of obstacles, what are some of the obstacles that you went through when coming up with this show concept and the overall?
Oh, okay. Well, some of the obstacles that I overcame with my broadcasting was trying to find the demographics and the audience that I fell under. I started out as a photojournalist writing for Vegas Rocks magazine, and I wrote for fashion, and there wasn't much rock and roll fashion chat going on. There was lots of stuff about music and where people are performing and the guitars and so forth and the equipment, but not everyone was talking about the hairstyles or the trends that were going on or where people like to shop. And so from there I created that into a radio show, which I called 702 Rocks. And I found that I wanted to gear it more towards social media, towards technology, and for social media for entrepreneurs to kind of talk more of what's trending in that area, because that's what I geek out on. I love fashion. I definitely love rock and roll. And I'm so intrigued about all the different things that Vegas has to offer within that genre. But I felt like Geeks Are Sexy was a new medium for me to take off, where people can actually see who Michelle was besides the fashion and the rock and roll, and to be able to say, oh wow, she actually loves all of these things, and I had no idea that I was into that. So entrepreneurship is something I am very passionate about, and anyone who's a go-getter and has a dream and a goal to make something happen, I don't care if it's underwater basket weaving or wanting to do a project on a canvas or a photo project. Everybody has goals, and everyone has desires, and everyone has a message that they want to share to someone, especially on social media.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. I remember, earlier, like a couple minutes ago, you mentioned struggles that other people have faced and bullying. Now, is bullying something that you faced?
Oh, definitely. I was bullied as a kid. I was a band geek. I played the clarinet. And yeah, I honestly think a lot of people are either bullied or they were the bully. And for me, I wanted to kind of get across that, hey, I have a show that's an anti-bully show. Anyone can come on, and we're not going to get nasty or talk about anything that people find harsh to listen to. I wanted it to be easy and carefree, and something that is so nonchalant that anyone with a fear of being on television could come on and put on the persona of a geek wearing the geek glasses and have a good time. And that to me is the best part about what I do.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You know what, Michelle, stay right here. We're going to be right back because I really want to hear more about your the things that you've been through in life, as well as your spiritual journey.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
We'll be right back. And welcome back. We're still here with Michelle Davis. We were talking about her show, Geeks Are Sexy. Now, Michelle, I want to kind of like switch gears a little bit and maybe talk about your faith journey.
Okay.
Where do you come from as far as...
Oh, I was brought up a Christian, and I went to the Church of the Nazarene. And even as a young age, went to Sunday school every Sunday. And then, of course, went to further studies and went to caravan studies on Wednesday, and that was nice. So yeah, throughout my childhood, went to church and loved God.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So what's your meditation time like, your prayer time? Describe your process.
My prayer time is I wake up and I love to watch the sunrise, and I do yoga. And I start with a meditation of positive affirmations. Definitely 5 things that I'm grateful for. And I like to talk about things to myself like I'm healthy and conquering disease, I'm successful and appreciated at work. The list goes on and on, from I'm loving, I'm caring, I'm comforted. So there's so many different things that I do in my morning and evening ritual that I like to either awaken myself or unwind and kind of let God open up my heart and soul before the day actually begins.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You know, they say that God calls to us in our highs and our joys and whispers to us in our pain. Now, you went through some obstacles in your life recently. Tell me about that.
Well, recently had an unplanned pregnancy that ended up being a miscarriage, and that was definitely a turning point in my life, wondering what this was about, and just trying to allow God to be there for me in ways that somehow I felt that I couldn't be there for myself. Not knowing how I would handle things, and not knowing where my journey in my life in the future would take me, not wanting to be too hard on myself and just kind of let go of being in control so much. And I think sometimes that's where having God to allow my life to be more in of a centered direction rather than trying to take it in so many sharp turns and where I feel would be best in my life. Another is that my sister was diagnosed recently with stage 4 breast cancer. She's had cancer several times in her life, but this one was definitely a hard blow to her, and she's still fighting for her life, even though seems the immunotherapy and chemotherapy is working. That was something that I definitely had to give my faith in God and allow Him to do what He felt was right and the best intention for my sister. And there were so many struggles of selfishness and sadness and grief that I had never in my life ever felt before.
Yeah, elaborate on that. What exactly was going through your mind?
Just thinking to myself, what would life be like without her? What would I be like without her? What is it like to really have a sibling and to have a sister and to really, really appreciate that? And to some of the things, even to the extent of what are some things today and right now that I can do to make that better? And it wasn't so much worrying and trying to figure out what ifs, but being more of being prepared for the worst, expecting the worst, but preparing for the best. Meaning that I didn't know the outcome and the circumstances, and even though I wanted to be positive, even though I wanted to be looking towards as far as this is going to be okay, in the back of my head I had no idea, and that was really scary. And so I made sure that every chance I got, I went and visited her.
Yeah.
I created tons of memories and found that my life was living not only for her, but through the faith of God as well.
And this was going on at the same time?
The same time it all happened, yeah. And a few months before that, I had put my dog to sleep. She had cancer. And so that happened in May. I had the miscarriage in June and found out in July my sister had cancer. So it was one blow after another that I finally am recuperating from. And I really trust and have faith in so many ways with God because He's been there for me in the highs and the lows of my life. And there's so many things to be thankful for. And there's so many times where I wondered, why me? Why is this happening? Do I deserve this? Or any of that circumstances. And I knew, one way or another, everyone goes through tribulations in their life.
Yeah.
Everybody has circumstances and people pass away and loved ones pass away and things happen. And to me, I was thinking, this happens to everybody. But in my circumstance, how can I turn to God to make this a little more easier for myself? Because on one end of the spectrum, like I said, everybody, one way or another, we never leave on this earth alive.
Yeah.
We all pass away.
Yeah.
And so to me, I really looked at how much to be grateful for to what I have already in my life.
Man, so like you're going through all of this all at the same time. That kind of puts you in a place where you either want to give up or just die trying to get through it.
Yeah.
And like for me personally, I'm a walking prayer. Like everywhere I go, I'm always like saying in my head, Lord, please get me through this traffic. Please get me to the gym on time. I don't know why that's a priority in my life. That's the second prayer in my life. Get me to the gym. But everyone has their methods of meditation or prayer. They have their war room. What is yours?
I'd say my war room is definitely the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Letting out all that exertion, letting out all that aggression when I have a big set that I'm trying to overcome or when I'm lifting a lot of weights. I think of my sister. I think about hugging her and saying it's going to be okay and being in that mentality. And what was the other?
No, I think
the war room?
Yeah, the war room. Yeah.
Okay.
And you answered it. It's the gym.
Yeah, and I would say like a place where I feel at peace.
Yeah.
And where I feel like I can pray is not only, of course, the church, but going to a yoga class. To me, being able to stand still and be in poses where I feel like I can let go and let my mind go and open up my body and just release stress is to me a great way of exertion that I can just relax and meditate and just kind of go with the flow in life.
That's interesting. You mentioned yoga and having to be still, because what comes to mind is this passage I heard where it says, "Be still and know that I am here." And so, how do you feel afterwards?
After yoga?
After yoga,
Oh, wow. Yeah.
after the gym.
I feel changed. I feel deepened. I feel not so chaotic. I feel like the monkey mind has been able to be still. And, usually when I'm stressed out or chaos is going on in my life, I tend to run around and run amok and do all these errands to keep myself busy, to occupy my mind. And one thing I find that's invigorating is when you actually face the demon and you stand still and you think about exactly what you don't want to think about. So you get it off your chest and you let it go. Because a lot of the times I find in yoga, sometimes I feel like I want to cry. And I don't know why.
Yeah.
And it's like, don't run away from that. Don't hide from it. Just let it go and let it be and be in that moment. And for that 1 second, it feels comforting, nourishing, like I'm actually paying attention to my intuition and I'm guiding myself through all the balances of my senses and my chakras that I need to either open up or close off, and that is very deepening in spirituality to me.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty deep, huh?
Very deep.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that. But you know what? I want to hear more. Guys, we'll be right back. Hey everybody, we're still here. We're back. Thank you for sticking around. Michelle, you were talking about the war room, your place of meditation, and you mentioned the gym. That is something I can relate to.
Yes.
And it's something about it renews your spirit as well as your and on the physical side, it also your body releases endorphins.
Absolutely.
Making you feel like, whoa, we call it runner's high, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Like, what is it for you after, when it happens?
After the workout, what happens?
Yeah, what happens for you, like physically when you don't notice the worries are going away?
I notice that I'm capable of doing so much more with my day. Not only do I have more clarity, but I have more energy. And I find that after I've exerted all of the energy and my mind is clear and focused, I don't have any other room in my head for drama or stress and I find that to be so unusual because I'm a female. So, sometimes I'm like, and sometimes I'm like, but it's like when I work out, I find it's like I'm a little more on the softer side.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. like the Bible, what the Bible says about exercise in Romans 12:1 talks about how your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit. So taking care of it is actually a service of worship to God. Now, going back to your sister, you mentioned things are starting to progress. Things are getting better. What has happened to you since?
I have found that I'm able to have more endurance. I found that during the times of not knowing how my sister's health would be, I was kind of on a regimen of, okay, let's just do this workout, let's just get it over with, and then let's go on with our day. But now that I know that her health is improving and that I feel strongly about her going into remission, I kind of have a little more bounce of energy to me, and I'm able to kind of be a little more stronger because I've been so strong for her that I now feel I'm more stronger now within myself because of that.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny. But yeah, I have some more seriousness. Yeah. More bang to my buck when it comes to pulling up more reps or more on fire for my workout now.
What's interesting also is that you and I share the same trainer, and Michael Haley. Yeah, he's been on the show too. He's been on the show. Very God-loving man, and
he kind of looks like a god. I'm sure he'd love to.
Bam! Yeah,
Michael Haley.
He's huge. Yes. I guess that's why I followed the program to a T, because he's huge.
Yeah.
He's a bodyguard. You don't want to make that guy mad.
Yeah, I don't want to make his day. Yeah.
And it's crazy. I mentioned him because I know that God puts people in our lives for a reason, and how has his style of training benefited from you?
Wow, his style of training has benefited me to not be so hard on myself and to know that I can't get the results overnight.
Yeah.
And that, patience is a virtue, and that you have to have steadfast dedication for a lifestyle like this. Again, it's not going to be easy, and there's a lot of work that comes with it. But I think just allowing yourself to be in the moment, to get one day stronger and one day stronger, instead of how can I get the fastest results as quickly as possible in the least amount of time. That kind of mentality is a no-go. It makes no sense. Been there before, done that. And for me, Michael has shown me to just allow myself to love myself, honestly, for who I am and how I look. But don't be afraid to want to try something new and to work hard for something different if you have a goal in mind.
Yeah, and I noticed that in a lot of his teachings on social media, he includes the word and something encouraging from the Bible. It's almost like he's our workout pastor.
I know. Yes, I definitely feel that in so many ways. When I feel like I can't do the reps, he definitely gives me the push and encouragement. And some of his passages, he won't go all godly on me, but I definitely know he has like the right frame of mind in so many different perspectives to help me get through that set and to push forward to make my workout even better. Man. Yeah.
So Michelle, we're running out of time, but before we go, I know. Before we go, I want people to know how to find you.
Okay. Definitely find me on Facebook, Michelle Roxy Davis, or my Facebook fan page is Geeks, the letter R, Sexy. I'm on Instagram at 702ROX, or Geeks R, the letter R, Sexy 2, and on Facebook at Foxy_Roxy_show. And my show is called Geeks, the letter R, Sexy. TV show every Friday, 4 to 5 p.m. live. Pacific Standard Time on WCOBM.com.
Wow!
Yes.
That's a lot.
It's a mouthful. Yeah.
Well, Michelle, thank you for being on the show.
Thanks, David.
Always a pleasure to have you on.
Yeah.
And thank you guys for watching the show.
Thanks, guys.
Michelle, David, aloha.
Thanks for watching Faith in Vegas, a presentation of KEEN TV 17. We hope you've enjoyed today's program, and we'd love to hear your comments and suggestions for the show. You can contact KEEN TV 17 at the address on the screen.